Project 39 mini albums, and this is 13 hashtag Sandy's 13 Frights before Halloween 2022. This is my third week video. I think by the 13th week I'll get the title right. I made a file folder mini album, but I didn't use file folders. I liked the format of that. I thought it would be something quick and easy. It was easy. It wasn't really quick just because embellishing all the tags takes some time for me. But I did it, and I'm happy with the results for the most part. Let me open this up, and I'm glad I used ribbon as a closure. I didn't think I would need to, but it did get a little bit chunky. This is the front, and one of the things I'm not happy with is I used this triangular pocket in the front. If I were to do it again, I would not have a pocket in the front, because now I needed to put a tag in the pocket. But in any case, I used some paper I had in my stash, tried to use up the whole 12 by 12 pad, what was left of it, and I did really well. I only have scraps left. I'm going to die cut bunches of stuff out of the scraps so I don't have anything. I've had this chipboard sticker in my stash probably for 10-12 years. I used some orange rhinestones. What do you call those? And then this was from the same collection. This was from a collection I have no idea where it came from. I've had that for a million years. This little coffin I had made for Friends of Cards a couple of years ago. This is all Stampin' Up here. It's a Stampin' Up stamp, and that's a die, and that's a die. And I just thought it added a nice touch to the front of this card. I had these flowers. They were colorful centers, and I pulled them off and added some black enamel dots just to make it look a little more Halloween-y and not quite so flowery. I had some of this gauzy stuff, and I just added that amongst the flowers. I'm looking for black eyelash trims. Anyone know where you can get black and purple? I've been on the look for that for a couple of years. So anyhow, like I said, this is a file folder mini album, and I show you real quick at the end of this video how I constructed it. I used 2 pieces of heavyweight 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So, so here we go. So the inside has a couple more tags. This was from a 3x4 cut apart. I just cut it down and added these strips in between and put it on black cardstock. This one I just put these strips of a border paper on this cardstock in a circle punch, and then just some enamel dots just to add a little bit of texture. And I love this paper, but that goes in that pocket. Another fussy cut skull that I put on a scallop circle punch I had. Haunted was just a word I had in my stash from paper. Okay, now this, I had these banner stickers, again, for a million years. I have this, it's a glitter spider web. I have this dimensional spider. I just put a ticket down there and that says Happy Halloween, just so I had a couple of elements to add to that sticker. And these, of course, are just scraps from the paper collection. This was a cut apart, and I had these coffin papers that I added to the top. I had all sorts of different ribbon from my stash, and I just went through it and cut out different ribbon. This was a cut apart. It did not have glitter on it, but the paper pad it came with on the cover, it had this as an idea, and I thought, you know what, that's a fabulous idea. And I had this copper color glitter glue kind of stuff, and I just dabbed it with a pencil, and I just love the touch that gives me. All right, that goes in that pocket, and we open it yet one more time, but there's more even besides this. So I loved this page. This is where I doubled up on my cardstock, and so since I had 2 layers, I could make that into a pocket. So there is the tag that's in that pocket. I probably could have put a longer one, and I think I was intending on putting this one on, but then I had this fringe that I cut from, this was in my stash, I didn't cut it this year, but I cut from some crepe paper and then added just a piece of ribbon on top. This was cut from a cut apart, that was in my stash. So anyhow, that goes into this. So this pocket, I love the skulls, and then I used this design on the bottom of it. This was just a cut apart. I'm really not nuts about that. Would have been okay without the eye in the center. I know it has mystical meaning, but I just don't like it for Halloween. But I'm using it. Just a couple of tags that I just cut down to 2 inches, and I have a tag punch, which really comes in handy. This one I didn't even do anything to the corners. And this one, I love this paper. It's gold foiling tombstones, and I thought it was really cool. I just put a strip of some black and gold bats on the bottom, and this is gold and white foil I put on a piece of black cardstock, and that goes into that, and I like the look of that. So let's put this back in the pocket. This was a gold, it was a flower I had in my stash, and last year for whatever reason I colored it with some gold paint. Was it maybe a gold pen? I don't know, but I colored it gold and added a fussy cut skull on top of it. I feel like it needs something else there, but that's what it is. I have this Tim Holtz die that has these fabulous fences. I love that. I'll be doing some projects with that. Some more of this gauzy stuff down here. And then just a word from this collection. It just was on like a border strip. And I have a spider, like a mylar spider on top of that. I loved this gold with the black. I just think it adds a neat touch. So this, of course, is that tombstones. And this paper was different for this collection. You know, it wasn't eerie or spooky, but if you ink it up enough and add enough spooky things, it looks spooky. So I added this antique lace that I've had in my stash for a while. Just went through the eyelets I put on there and tied a bow at top with some white baker's twine. This was a Tim Holtz die as well. So was the tree. I put a white doily in the back there, and then this was just a border strip from a paper collection. And I just added some tulle I tied with a ribbon and just glued down. It just adds, you really can't see, but because this sort of has a tulle background, I don't know if you can see in here, but there's the texture of tulle. I just thought the black tulle would be fabulous to add. And this was going to be somewhere, and I don't know where. So I'll have to figure it out later. Okay, we're almost done. The back. So again, this was a Tim Holtz die. I had this dotted paper on the back, and I ripped some other paper just to brighten it up to put this die below. I had that border strip there, and I just added it with some words, beware, from a totally different paper collection. And yet another tag. I used this black and white check ribbon at the top. This was from the Tim Holtz collection. I had die cut it in white, and I just inked it in orange. And same thing, these tombstones came from that same Tim Holtz die. I don't have very many Tim Holtz Halloween dies, but of course I love them. I just haven't collected them along the way. Of course, that's a doily that it was white, but I inked up to make black. Put this little strip of black and white dots on black paper, and there is a tag. So that goes in there. And then the last one is real simple, just this polka dot paper. I just put a strip across, a flower from my stash, and this Eat, Drink, and Be Scary. That was really a very simple one, but I didn't want anything too complex to put on the back, just because it probably would get a lot of use. And now I'm going to show you how I made the project. Okay, to make this file folder mini album without file folders, take 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11 heavyweight cardstock, and with the short side at the top, score at 4 and 4 1/4. And then you're going to rotate and score at 8. So do that with both pieces. Then grab your scissors and cut up on those score lines up to that other score line. And I'm going to grab an X-Acto to cut it across, just because I don't trust myself cutting it straight with the scissors. Yeah, my hair's a little messy today. Okay, simple enough. Now what I'm going to do, I have to figure out where the 2 sides are that match. There we go, switch it over. So I'm going to make the center area a pocket. And to do that, I am going to grab my circle punch and make a hole in it. But then I go ahead and glue it down, and I probably should have just glued down on 2 sides like the top. Oh my gosh, my hair is crazy. I should have just glued on the right side and the bottom, and just left that open just so I could cut the circle again once the decorative paper is on. I'm going to take scissors and just cut across from one corner to the other on the left side, and then turn the paper over, and you see the center has a flap that goes on both sides. And then here so basically what you're going to do is have a triangular piece and a square piece, but you have those 2 triangular leftovers that you can glue on. So as I said in the walkthrough, I probably wouldn't have put a triangular pocket on the front of this. So just pay attention, decide whether or not you actually want that triangular pocket there. This is like 5 in the morning, so excuse the hair, but I was inspired overnight and I decided to just get to it. So yeah. All right, now you're going to cut 4 pattern papers by 3 7/8 by 7 7/8, and then cut 2 4 1/8 by 7 7/8. So that is going to give you the paper, the 2 that are 4 1/8 by 7 7/8. The center is a little wider, so we're going to do that here. This is where I should have used my circle punch and cut those golden skulls, just because there's going to be a pocket, and it would have been nice if I had that circle punch, but next time. So I'm just adding the pattern paper to the 6 sides of this. I mean, this is the fun part, is decorating this. The paper I had left over from my stash was pretty cool. Oops. Before you add pattern paper to the front and back, add a strip of score tape and add ribbon if desired. I highly recommend this. I didn't think I would need it because, you know, it looks pretty flat. How bad can it be? Well, it turned out fairly chunky because obviously the more embellishments you add, the chunkier it's going to be. So I highly suggest adding some ribbon or some form of closure. You could use a magnet if you want to make a little tab. Okay, now I'm going to add the rest of the paper to this. Oh, I was going to say I should have inked around the edges. I barely did. I guess I did a little and realized, you know, it doesn't make much of a difference. So I'm adding this creepy muted skull kind of pattern. And what am I going to put on the back here? The other side of this skull paper had these cool stripes on it, so I'm going to use that. It adds some color to an otherwise dark and creepy look. I mean, I like dark and creepy for Halloween, but... okay, what am I doing here? Oh, I have one more piece of paper. Love that gold stripe, but yeah, I'm just going to glue it down. I think I had like a whole sheet of this sunflower paper left. You know, I think it's where my camera is. You usually don't see the top of my head. Lucky you. All right, so there we go. I realized that this triangular pocket is a little tight, so I just snip a little bit off and of course just glue it down on the one side. Burnish real well. And then here is the other one, and just burnish real well just to make sure that triangular pocket is going to be down. And of course here I just need to add glue. Make sure you just add a really thin line of glue. If you make it too thick, your pocket you're not going to be able to get anything in it. So now I'm looking to figure out where I want to put these triangular pieces, and this side is fine. I don't mind adding it here, but hold off. Don't add it to the one on the right side, because that is going to be the cover of the album, and you might not want the pocket. Like I said, in retrospect, I probably wouldn't have done that. But it was one of those fly by the seat of your pants projects, just sort of make it up as you go along. And that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to look at all the other people in the collab, like and subscribe to them all, and have a fabulous day.